Welcome to Cord Cutting This Week, number 9, the show where I give you my opinion on some of the biggest cord cutting stories of the week. But this week's going to be a little different. It's the week between Christmas and New Year's, traditionally a slow week. There has been some stories out there. Looks like Amazon has updated their app to basically redirect you from the YouTube app to their browser. But beyond that, there really hasn't been a ton of cord cutting news. So I wanted to give you a look forward to what I think will be some of the biggest stories of 2018. Now, these aren't stories that are guaranteed to happen. Some of them are more trends. But these are my predictions for 2018. So let's dive in here. Number 1, the number 1 prediction I have for 2018 is streaming services shutting down. Currently, there are over 200 streaming services just in the United States, more around the world. And we're running into a little bit of a supply and demand situation here where multiple services are trying to exist in the same space, which is fine. There is room for multiple. But I think we're getting to a point where there are too many to a point. And we're already seeing more services announced for 2018. It's possible we may top 250, 300 even streaming services. So at some point, something's got to give there. We've already seen a few close. Flixster announced that their marketplace where you can rent and buy movies and TV shows will be shutting down. They're telling their subscribers how to move their content over to Vudu. Kind of an example there of oversaturation. Amazon, iTunes, Google Play, Vudu, the list goes on and on. Fandango now, of just a marketplace with too many of those kind of services for a service like Flixster, who didn't have the big name recognition to succeed. Probably going to see that happen in 2018 more. The thing to watch here is look for stories to say basically, oh, cord cutting is dead, look, this service or that service shut down. And that's probably not the truth. The truth is, the reality is, I should say, just oversaturation. So watch for the negative anti-cord cutting stories and take them with a grain of salt on that. Do I think any live TV services will shut down? Probably not. As best I can tell, all the live TV services between fundraising and companies backing them have plenty of capital to live through 2018. Do I think a live TV streaming service will shut down? Probably, but probably not in 2018. We know there's several additional live TV streaming services come on the market. Probably could top 10 live TV streaming services on the market in 2018. Again, supply and demand. At some point, there's going to be more services than subscribers out there that can support them. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's probably a story for 2019, 2020 more there. Let's keep going on here. New streaming players. That's probably when you're saying, yeah, Luke, of course there's going to be a new streaming player in 2018. But I'm going to try here pulling out a few that I think will specifically be updated. Number 1 is the Amazon Fire Stick. Of the current generation of the big 3, the Amazon, Apple, and Roku, the Fire Stick is the kind of the oldest one on the market and the slowest on the market right now. And it's starting to show its age when it comes to some of the newer streaming apps out there. It's kind of feeling a little clunky, a little slow a little bit out there. I think Amazon is going to be launching a new Fire Stick version. Probably will stay as a HD, which will help them keep the price low. Don't expect Amazon to rush out there and update it with 4K, especially since they just released a mid-price 4K streamer at the $69 range, which is compatible with the Roku mid-range 4K HDR player. The next one up is look for new Roku TVs. And I'm not talking about new models of Roku TVs. It's guaranteed that new models will come out. I'm talking about brands. So Sharp, RCA, TCL, the list goes on and on of partners. Philips is joining the Roku TV craze. Look for other manufacturers to join Roku TV. It's a great deal for the manufacturers because the manufacturers can make the TV and sell it. And right now, in what is a very thin profit margin on TVs, if they have to maintain the OS, it eliminates that profit margin. So turning that over to Roku, letting Roku do the OS maintenance, the updates, adding apps and so forth, means that Philips and TCL and Sharp and RCA, etc. can sell the TVs and not worry about the cost of the OS. I think other manufacturers are going to jump on this craze. It seems like Roku has the most favorable terms right now, but keep an eye on the Fire TV OS there too and Android TV. But for now, it seems like Roku is the one that's running away with it. And next up, in 2018, it's going to become harder and harder to spot piracy. Traditionally, piracy was easy to spot. If you looked at a service and was offering you HBO and all kinds of stuff for free, you're like, that's a piracy service. And it was pretty easy to spot. Nowadays, though, it's becoming increasingly more difficult because the services, A, look more professional, B, they're charging you money. I'm increasingly getting people coming to me like, hey, check out this new service. It's $50, $20, whatever, and it has all these channels, or it promises you every movie service or movie ever made, etc. And increasingly when I look at them, they're not legal streaming services. It's becoming increasingly difficult to spot piracy. I think this is going to be a trend that's happening in 2018. We've already seen recently a collection of piracy apps make it into official app stores, whether that be the Amazon or the Google Play one. I think even iTunes had one for a very short time. Don't count me on that one, though. I'm trying to remember off the top of my head. But watch in 2018 for a flood of new piracy services that are going to try to make you think they're legitimate. And that's becoming a real trend right now. So keep that in mind. Take everything with a grain of salt. If it sounds too good to be true, well, you probably know how that finishes. Number 4 up. Look for piracy lawsuits. Now this one kind of continues here. We have seen in the end of 2017 a flood of legal actions against streaming players and services that stream pirated content to the end users. Content owners have made it very clear that streaming is something that they're taking very seriously. Kind of the same way they took seriously torrenting back, a few years ago when torrenting was a major issue. Now that torrenting isn't quite the issue it used to be, streaming is kind of replacing it. There's a lot of people out there that tell you, well, if it's streamed, it's legal. And that is not necessarily the case. Now, in the US, there hasn't been a lot of good legal precedent set on this, though that seems to be coming to a head right now, with several major lawsuits against box developers, Kodi add-on manufacturers, and repositories. That it looks like the content owners have said, we're going to find specific cases that we think are slam dunk easy wins. And then once we win those, we can turn around and go on more difficult cases with precedent behind us. Not only that, we're hearing rumors that they are going to go back to their old ways. If you remember back in the late 2000s, early 2010s, they were suing anyone and everybody. And from as best we can tell, the studios and even Netflix and Amazon and Hulu have been jumping board, are starting to lawyer up. Rumors are they may even try to go over some end users or I should say people promoting piracy on YouTube and other places that are showing you how to do it, telling you how to do it. Even if they don't work for that company, they're promoting it. Look for a flood of lawsuits in that range, especially once the few cases that are out there right now are resolved. If they are successful and the content owners win, I think the ones they pick, they have a pretty solid case on, at least most, if not all. Once that happens, look for just a flood of lawsuits to come in, like they happened in the late 2000s and 2010s. Because once you have precedent, it becomes very easy to sue. And even if you don't think you're going or plan to win all of them, if you could just scare the living daylights out of people thinking they're going to get sued, is kind of where I think this is going to go. So let's keep going here. My last prediction for 2018 is number 5, cord cutting growth. We've seen cord cutting growth kind of come over the hill, and it feels like it's going downhill. That the speed of cord cutting is rolling faster and faster down the hill. I expect in 2018 to see cord cutting's growth just take off. And I look for it to be much faster than I think some people have anticipated. It's so much easier to become a cord cutter today than it was a year ago. And I think with the ease of cord cutting will come the growth of cord cutting. And now that's so easy, if your parents can do it, that's probably going to cause a big flood of cord cutting. So in 2018, look for a flood of new cord cutters, maybe as much as 1.5 million a quarter, maybe even seeing by the end of the year our first month of 1 million or more cord cutters in a single month. So keep an eye on that. Well, there you go. My top 5 cord cutting predictions of 2018. Do you have a prediction of 2018? Now, these don't have to be things you know are going to happen. These are things you just think may happen or very likely to happen in 2018. Leave me a comment. I would love to hear what your predictions for 2018 are. Also, hey, if you like these videos, hit the subscribe button. Check us out at CourtCardsNews.com. Would really appreciate your support. Every day on CourtCardsNews.com, we're posting video or story after story all about cord cutting. And subscribe to us on YouTube. We're increasingly posting more content here. In 2018, here's a prediction you can count on. We have some big things to work that will raise the quality of our production and bring out more YouTube content to you, the end cord cutter. Questions, comments, let me know, and I'll do my best to answer your questions. Otherwise, join us every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern, for our weekly cord cutting Q&A right here on YouTube every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.